Nebraska has a really good recruiting class that Matt Rhule and his staff are putting the final touches on as we speak. But where are the impact players? I'll tell you where they are. They're in the transfer portal. And today, we're breaking down the massive news that broke on Sunday that Ohio State transfer prospects, Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming, will be in Lincoln this week. We got HuskerOnline insider Sean Callahan. He's going to break it all down for us. But first, Husker fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We're growing this page, and you guys love recruiting. I love talking about it. We need more Nebraska fans on here, so hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on Sean Callahan. Sean, do you believe in package deals? Because Husker fans are hoping this Ohio State package gets dropped off just in time for Christmas. What are we hearing? What are the sources saying?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily meant to be a package deal, but it could work its way out to that. I mean, Kyle McCord went on the portal on Monday of last week, and by Tuesday at 5 p.m., Nebraska was in Columbus, Ohio, meeting with him. He was one of 5 quarterbacks they met with last week over a period of like Saturday to Wednesday. So McCord has definitely been a priority, and then Fleming goes in, and it just makes sense. I mean, I think the biggest thing for Nebraska is they need a quarterback, a veteran guy that can step in for this team next year, a proven guy that's a manager that takes care of the football. That's Kyle McCord. But they also don't have a true number one receiver returning on this football team right now. And Julian Fleming makes a lot of sense. And the camaraderie these two guys already have, the chemistry they play with, it just all makes too much sense right now for Nebraska. And it's a matter of just closing this deal with these guys on campus.
Right. So what's the deal with McCord? Is there any connection, any prior relationships? Or is this a scenario where Nebraska's like, hey, we got playing time. We know you're looking for it. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, he's from Philadelphia. He plays high school ball there. Matt Rhule was in Temple. So there is a deep Philadelphia connection, New Jersey connection with this coaching staff. McCord, I believe, is from New Jersey, but played in Philly at St. Joe's. So there's that connection there with all of those guys. But the other thing is Nebraska just offers him what he's looking for. Number one, a prominent stage. You play in front of 85,000 people every week in the Big Ten Conference at Nebraska, one of the winningest programs in college football. It's not Ohio State, but it's still one of the more respected brands out there. And, you know, from an NIL perspective, let's not kid ourselves. There aren't a lot of programs that could probably offer what a high-value former 5-star quarterback is going to be marketedly worth. And I think Nebraska can do competitively what it takes to get a guy like Kyle McCord, to get a Julian Fleming. But I do think there's definitely some things there that make a lot of sense. He's only a 1-year guy, though. He's not a 2-year transfer.
Right.
So you're essentially doing this for a guy that's going to get here in January and be out of here by December.
Yeah. And when it comes to Julian Fleming, I mean, it sounds like he's more than just a +1 to Kyle McCord. Is his recruitment completely independent? Like, if McCord ends up going elsewhere, is Nebraska still all in on Julian Fleming?
I think so. I don't, like I said, the McCords, when we spoke with Derek McCord, he didn't want to speak on anything about Julian as far as his visit or his timeline. And Julian himself has not really confirmed much or anything to our knowledge. So it's really hard to kind of piece the two together, other than they're both Ohio State Buckeyes that are both former 5-stars that are both going to be in Nebraska this weekend. So you've got those connection points right there. But beyond that, it's really kind of just connecting the dots at this point.
How big of a get would Kyle McCord be in this Nebraska offense?
Yeah, it's the offseason piece that this team needs. I mean, they return a bulk of this team next year, but quarterback, they led the country in turnovers last year. The quarterback was a big reason why. You erase that with a guy that threw for 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions at Ohio State, and you bring in a receiver that's got almost 1,000 yards receiving at Ohio State. So yeah, this would be a massive win. I think it would be a big statement as well for Nebraska's NIL collective, the 1890 initiative, to kind of step in and help Matt Rhule, support him to get something like this done.
Do you think Kyle McCord's a top priority, number one target, or is he just the first QB to visit, meaning they got other guys lined up that are going to come through? Kyle McCord's just the first.
Well, they visited with 5 guys last week, and a few of them are already off the board. Sam Levitt, we talked to him last week, confirmed his visit with Nebraska, but had never heard anything more. I think he wanted to get an official visit to Lincoln. Well, he's now committed to Arizona State. Blake Shapen, the Baylor quarterback, they visited with him. He committed to Mississippi State. So those are two guys already off the board. They went and saw Cam Ward, who's the number one player arguably in the entire transfer portal. He still hasn't made a decision, but it seems like Nebraska would be kind of a longer shot in that race. And then Will Howard was met with as well, I believe, at Kansas State. So those are the names.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really felt like since Thursday or Friday of last week, McCord's name really emerged as the guy that they were going to go after. That made a lot of sense. He's a Big Ten proven quarterback. He's played in cold weather. You know what you're kind of getting in a guy like Kyle McCord, and hopefully just his management and skill set is the piece that could help Nebraska lose. I mean, they lost 3 games this year by a score of 13-10 on last-second field goals.
And Kyle McCord, he can help that. So let's just say, this thing goes well, this visit goes well. Does Nebraska put the push to close this? Because, as you said, these QB dominoes are falling in the transfer portal. We're starting to see a lot come off the board this week. So maybe it's time for Kyle McCord to make a decision.
Well, after Saturday, the dead period begins Sunday. And then you cannot visit campus anywhere else until January 3rd through 7th. There's that short little window they put in last year just for transfer players. So if you don't get a quarterback locked up, and this is the only guy coming to see you this week, you might have to wait until January 3rd until you could host another visitor on campus. Now, theoretically, a guy could come on his own and walk around on his own, do things on his own, but the coaching staff cannot be a part of anything after Saturday. So this is a big week for everyone in the country because of that dead period that looms and that begins on Sunday.
All right. Well, guys, it's a huge week in Lincoln with Kyle McCord and Julian Fleming on campus. Go stop by HuskerOnline for all the recent developments. And Sean Callahan, thank you for dropping by the Inside Scoop today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.